I can never forget Tom. No matter how much Keith tries to imitate him, Keith will never be as good as him. I would rather give all $300 million to Keith, leave with nothing and divorce him. Being married to Keith for 20 years has felt like walking through a maze with no end.
Tom Cruise is now finally breaking off speaking on Nicole Kidman's divorced from Keith Urban. He hasn't spoken a word though. Furthermore, that silence is more chilly and loud than any headline could ever be. After 19 years with Keith, Nicole files for divorce, citing the same irreconcilable differences that caused her marriage to Tom to end 24 years ago. Meanwhile, her ex-husband has remained silent, as he has done for almost 25 years. Here's the startling part though. Nicole's 2001 video has recently gone viral. She made a joke on David Letterman that wasn't really a joke at all, 6 months after Tom filed for divorce. Right now, that moment is popular everywhere. Furthermore, it exposes a darker side to Tom's 24-year silence, the uncanny similarities between Nicole's 2 divorces, and the pattern she is unable to break. Because Tom's silence is an attempt to completely erase his ex-wife from his story, not just to ignore her. Nicole has been learning the same painful lesson twice, as evidenced by her divorce from Keith. The August 2001 video is the one that is going viral. "You look fantastic," David Letterman said at the beginning of Nicole's appearance on his Late Show to promote the others. "I've heard that you're divorcing. How is that going?" Nicole gave a clumsy laugh. Nicole grinned and gave the statement that summed up her post-Tom era when Letterman mentioned that she had been receiving a lot of inquiries regarding the breakup. "Well, I can wear heels now. I can now wear heels though." The crowd burst out. Smirking, Nicole snatched up her shoe and hurriedly said, "Let's move on."
Keith imitates Tom every day, from his clothes to his mannerisms. He always asks me, does it look like him? I reluctantly answer yes. He angrily says, you still haven't forgotten Tom, have you? If I say no, he will question, I'm not as good as him, am I? Each of these words feels like a judgment, pushing me back into memories I don't want to touch. I've tried to forget, tried to start over, but every time he imitates Tom, every question he asks, I can't escape the shadow of the past. When I discovered Keith's affair with another young woman, I finally woke up. I had always been just a shadow in his life, unable to touch his true heart. Tom and I once lost a child. That pain is deeply buried in my heart. Every time I see Tom, my heart aches. In the end, we chose to separate. But every time I think back, I still regret it. Maybe we were too young, not giving each other enough understanding. Now, I don't want to deceive myself anymore, and I don't want to continue living in someone else's shadow. It's time to make the truest choice for myself.
Take a moment to consider that. Nicole is 5'11", Tom is 5'7". It wasn't about shoes in that joke after 10 years of shrinking. It was about being able to occupy space once more, because it is impossible to overlook the similarities between Nicole's divorce from Tom in 2001 and her divorce from Keith in 2025. That clip is now making a comeback. Both had irreconcilable differences at the end because their careers kept them apart. Both ended. And in both cases, Nicole was caught off guard as her husband had already emotionally checked out while she was fighting to save something. The worst part is yet to come. Her ex-husband's silence has been deafening in both situations. Let's examine Nicole's actual 2001 statements. Because everything about their marriage was exposed by the joke about, I can wear heels now, Nicole wasn't joking about her height when she said she could wear heels once more. I can be tall, she said. I can be seen. I don't have to shrink myself to please other people, and this is what no one anticipated. Later on, she would acknowledge that she had sacrificed essential aspects of herself for Tom. 2002 Vanity Fair, I was prepared to sacrifice everything. I loved it and would have walked to the end of the world to be with Tom while we were reeling. That required me to give up many things that I valued greatly. Go over that again. She was willing to vanish because she loved him so much. 2006, 5 years following the separation. Although I loved him and he was lovely to me, that was a huge shock. I still adore him. She continued to love him, even after 5 years. Furthermore, Tom had never mentioned her in public. 2015. My recovery took a very long time. My system was shocked by it. The joke about being able to wear heels now wasn't successful. It was a matter of survival. After spending 10 years shrinking herself for someone who abruptly left, Nicole was attempting to regain something. And now that people are noticing the same pattern with Keith, that joke is going viral once more. On February 5th, 2001, Tom submitted his divorce application. 24 years have passed since that day, and Tom has remained largely silent about Nicole. Here are some public statements Tom has made about his ex-wife over the course of almost 25 years. Nothing from 2001 to 2024. Nothing. His representatives cite irreconcilable differences when questioned about the divorce. Silence from Tom himself. In 2006, Tom declares his love for Katie Holmes by leaping on Oprah's couch. Nicole is never mentioned by him. Those 10 years seem to have disappeared. Tom and Katie get divorced in 2012. Tom never acknowledges the pattern of his wives abandoning him during the media frenzy. May 2025. This is exactly what Tom says in an interview about Eyes Wide Shut. Nicole is a fantastic actress, so I recommended that she play the part. That's all. A fantastic actress in 3 words. That's all Tom Cruise has said about Nicole Kidman in public after 24 years. Furthermore, Tom remains silent when Nicole files for divorce from Keith. 24 years of total, purposeful silence, since quiet isn't neutral. You have a choice. Tom has made the decision to pretend that Nicole doesn't even exist in his story. This is the part that no one anticipated. Nicole's 2 divorces have the same similarities. Tom, 2001. Reason. Their disparate professions keep them apart. Who desired to leave? Tom submitted a file. Nicole's response. That was a big surprise. I still adore him. Keith, 2025. Reason. People's lives are going in different ways. Who desired to leave? Keith was the first to leave. References. This was not what she wanted. She has been battling to keep the marriage intact, the same pattern. While her husband's career took precedence in both marriages, Nicole struggled to make it work. Due to conflicting careers, he was never at home in either situation. She was left holding the pieces in both situations. Here's what makes this genuinely eerie, though. Her husband's silence during both divorces indicated that he had already emotionally moved on long before the formalities were completed. After filing, Tom didn't bring it up again. 2 months before the public found out, he signed the custody documents in August, granting Nicole the majority of the parenting time. Since then, he has remained silent. Nicole keeps running into men who can disappear like that, and both men had already emotionally left the marriage. A heartbreaking picture is painted by Nicole's statements about Tom over the years. In 2002, I was prepared to sacrifice everything, even if it meant giving up many of my most treasured possessions. It served as defense. I married for love, but I was protected from sexual harassment because I was married to a very powerful man. What's heartbreaking about that is this. For safety, Nicole wed Tom. Her age was 23. He was already a huge star at the age of 28. She reduced herself, remained hidden, and gave up her strength to keep him safe. What did she return with? Quiet. Total obliteration of his story. Nicole has spent decades trying to figure out why she gives everything to men who give her nothing in return, as these quotes all demonstrate. Why then will Tom never speak again? There are particular causes. The first theory is Scientology. The church considers Nicole to be a repressive individual. Tom was preferred by their adopted children over Nicole in Scientology. Tom would be in violation of church doctrine if he spoke well of Nicole. The second theory is about legal agreements. Confidentiality clauses prohibiting either party from talking about the marriage are probably part of their divorce. The third theory is that he has moved on. Nicole is considered ancient history by Tom, not worth dealing with. The fourth theory is the most sinister reality. According to insiders, Tom no longer considers Nicole to be a part of his life story. He has altered his own story, deleting 10 years as though they never occurred. And this is what's so chilling. You don't exist once Tom Cruise has finished with you, not only in the present, but also in the past. The level of coldness needed to keep quiet about someone you had children with for 24 years. It isn't typical processing, intentional eraser, that is. Their divorce isn't the only reason for Tom's silence. It's a blueprint that also explains Keith's situation. Tom had emotionally left long before filing, as evidenced by his silence. Keith displayed the same pattern. 2 months before anyone knew they were divorcing, in August, he signed the parenting plan, agreeing that Nicole would have their daughters most of the time. For those 2 months, Keith said nothing at all. No mentions of Nicole in interviews or on social media. As if nothing had changed, he moved out in silence and went on tour. Like Tom 20 years before, Keith had already disconnected by the time Nicole filed on September 30th. Complete emotional detachment was a skill that both men possessed. Without having to talk about it, think about it, or even acknowledge Nicole's existence, either could decide it was over and take appropriate action. And in both situations, Nicole was attempting to salvage something that had already come to an end. Now, her quote from 2024 seems to be a warning to herself. If you think you two are the ideal couple, you're in trouble. I don't think perfection is possible. She had a gut feeling that Keith had already emotionally left, just as Tom had. Silence is the worst reaction, as both men demonstrated. Not conflict, not rage, just quiet. The total lack of recognition of your existence. Regarding Nicole Kidman's divorce from Keith Urban, Tom Cruise has remained silent and will remain silent. His silence over the past 24 years speaks louder than words ever could. They show a man who can completely erase his emotions, sharing 10 years with someone, and then pretending nothing ever happened. Nicole wasn't referring to shoes when she joked that she could now wear heels. She was discussing taking back her height, being tall once more, and existing at her full height after reducing her size. People see the pattern repeating, which is why that joke has gone viral. Absence ended, another marriage, another husband who left physically but emotionally vanished. Keith's constant touring reveals what Tom has been denying for 24 years. Nicole. There are some men who simply cannot show up. Additionally, they depart in a manner that leaves you wondering if you were ever important. This is the reality that no one wants to discuss. Silence and Nicole have been divorced twice. Once in 2001, Tom filed without providing a reason. Once more in 2025, Keith left home and carried on with his life as though their marriage had already ended. Furthermore, words are never as powerful as silence. Since admitting Nicole would mean admitting she mattered, Tom will remain silent until one of them passes away. And that's not what Tom Cruise does. The true question is now, will Tom ever talk about Nicole in real life? Or will he never say anything but remain silent? Furthermore, why does Nicole consistently select men who can vanish silently? Leave your comments below, because perhaps the story isn't in Tom's silence. Perhaps Nicole has a tendency to select men who can disappear while standing directly beside her.